Saturday, 10:30 a.m., Port Renfrew, British Columbia.
Okay, how long ago did you see him?
Two fishermen approach a Parks Canada rescue team to report a hiker in distress on Vancouver Island's rugged West Coast Trail. Gil Villaseñor from Southern California has slipped on some roots, injuring his right leg. Bruised and swollen, he cannot continue the challenging 75-kilometer hike and needs to be evacuated.
They're out near Collate Cove along the West Coast Trail and were flagged down by a couple in their 50s waving a red flag. They went in to investigate, and the gentleman was complaining of a blown knee. We're already in the rigid hull and we're already on the water, so we're going to head straight out there.
Already loaded with basic medical and rescue equipment, their twin-engine rigid hull inflatable boat, or RIB, can take off immediately. They will reach the subject in approximately 25 minutes. Team leader Jeff Caro and SAR trainee Sibylla Helms are part of a 5-member team of Parks Canada rescue specialists who live and work out of their station in Port Renfrew at the south end of the West Coast Trail. With an average of 100 call-outs during the May to October hiking season, 2 members are always on call 24/7. Depending on the situation, they rescue by boat, helicopter, or on foot, keeping a range of gear ready to go at a moment's notice. Outside of Canadian Forces SARTECs parachuting or hoisting in from aircraft, Parks Canada Search and Rescue is the only medical help available in this unforgiving territory. Between rescues, they spend a lot of time working on all aspects of this world-renowned trail to keep it safe.
Right here we are at Thrasher Cove. This is a site where we've had in the past some major accidents on this little slope. There was at one point a stair system that took hikers down this way over this rocky, muddy mess, but it was blown away by a tree and hasn't been replaced just yet. It doesn't look all that bad, but it gets worse once you're on it. So once hikers get committed to this slope, that's when things go wrong. We thought we'd be able to be okay without it. Then we had a major wreck here last summer that involved multiple head injuries, and so obviously we got to get this going again. The trail crew's on it. They're going to be out in the next while to replace it, but until then we're going to put up just some ski slope style fencing just to direct hikers away from coming down this area.
So we're just at Chihuahua Cabin today, and I'm looking for some signs of wildlife in this area. We have a closure.
There are significant bear, cougar, and wolf populations living in the region. When they start crossing paths with hikers, search and rescue sometimes becomes search and relocate.
Really large bear. Oh yeah, you can see it here. That's the forepaw. Probably male.
Those types of animals, there's kind of an escalation of risk, and our job is we try to raise awareness to the hikers and educate people on how to deter those animals before they become a high risk.
And no sign of the bear at Chihuahua?
Unfortunately, sometimes the animal has to be put down. Luckily, we don't have to do that very often, but it is definitely a possibility and we train for it.
We're at the Port Renfrew Rifle Range. We're here to practice with the 22 rifles today. We've had a lot of bear activity on the trail, so we're just keeping our skills up with shooting and familiarity with the guns.
On the bullseye.
Nice.
Actually, one's in the bullseye. Woo!
Good shooting.
Shannon and I have shot about 80 rounds in the last half an hour, trying to get through a series of different positions and practicing our breathing, our sight picture, our trigger pull, everything we can to get ready in case we do get called to use firearms.
11 a.m. Jeff and Sibylla have arrived at Collate Cove.
See people ashore, but they waved us in, so we're at the right spot. Definitely people that want us to come ashore and give them a hand. Don't know what yet, so we'll row in and we'll update as the plan changes.
Being a SAR rookie, Sibylla Helms takes the initiative to prep the tender.
My natural instinct is to jump ahead and take on challenges. I love challenges. And so I'm a little bit uber keen sometimes, and that's the dangerous thing, you know, when you teach someone just a little bit and then they get in over their head pretty easily. So it's a matter of knowing your limits and safety limits as well.
You said you slipped off some roots.
Yeah, I was just dropped about 4 feet, and I had to put my foot down like this, and I actually flipped over, slipped and tumbled over, landed on my pack and shoulder.
Did you hit your head at all?
No.
Where's the pain? I see a cut there on your knee. Is that
Yeah, that's when I fell.
All right.
And then it was like, now it's kind of like stiff in here. In the front right here.
He's packed well, he's got great gear, but he's never hiked in these kind of conditions before, and whether he had or not may not have made any difference.
Monday we went
He was able to limp to camp that night. His wife gave him like massaged his leg and rubbed around his knee to try to help loosen it up, and it was awfully stiff and sore for him. He took some pills, so he was in rough shape.
It sends the pain right in here.
Okay. Any problem moving your ankle at all?
No, the only problem I had down there was yesterday all day. It started throbbing,
In here?
aching, like a really bad ache. But after her massaging and the Motrin, got up to, I slept great last night. No Motrin.
Yeah.
My leg, I was perfect. So I was like, yeah, we're out of here. And then as soon as I walked about.
And can you wiggle your toes?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any fracture. The pain does radiate down the inside of his leg. And so we're gonna splint it up because there's a bit of bouncing around on the boat once we get out there.
I've been waiting like 8 years to come from this trip.
Oh man!
Still gonna be here once you're all healed up.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring a llama with me next time.
We should open up the season 1 year for just people who've had injuries. You don't have them all come out. Kind of have a big reunion. Their ego's more bruised than anything. Their pride's hurt. He felt bad about calling us. He felt bad about having to leave the trail early. It was typical that way. And poor guy. He was just super nice guy. It's just we get like hiking guides. They come out here and they get taken out. Like, it doesn't matter,
It is pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's just after 6, and we're back at the Port Renfrew Search and Rescue Station, and Gil and his wife are safely set up in a hotel, the last room available tonight. So they're all good. They're going to stay in Port Renfrew for a couple of days and wait for their hiking partners to get off the trail. And that wraps it up for another rescue on West Coast Trail.
119 from 68, 119.
Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. Parks Canada rescue team members Danny Thompson and Sibylla Helms have been called out to evacuate an injured hiker off the West Coast Trail. They're stationed offshore at Secaucus Creek, kilometer 17, and in radio contact with 2 of the First Nations trail guardians who live in the area and help injured hikers get medical attention.
We'll be there in about 3.5 to 4 minutes.
Okay, thanks a lot, Lonnie. 68.
We got a call that there's a fellow, his name's Bruno, with a sore left knee or a calf. So he's not quite sure what it is, but called us yesterday to give us the heads up, and called again this morning to confirm that he needs to be evacuated. He can't hike any further.
We've got a real foggy day, but fortunately for us, it's an extremely calm day. This is kind of typical summer seas, low swell, no wind.
Sibylla arrives on the beach and is met by the trail guardians. They have escorted Bruno down to the rendezvous point, allowing the rest of his hiking party to continue the trek south along the trail. Sibylla performs a primary medical survey and preps Bruno for transport. It's a quick trip out to the rib where they transfer Bruno, store the tender, and begin the 30-minute trip back to the SAR base in Port Renfrew. It's a grab and go. A few days later, Jeff Caro and 30-year veteran SAR manager Rick Holmes are preparing for yet another trail evacuation when Bruno drops by the station. He's been to the local clinic while waiting for his hiking partners to finish the trail and has received some interesting news about his sprain.
Like a band up in here. I thought I'd pulled a muscle really bad. And
A little more than that.
didn't hear a crack or didn't hear anything.
That's quite a break.
That's awesome.
And displaced a little bit too, and
That must have hurt.
a piece came off there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creating its own path of bruised bodies, broken bones, and shattered egos, the West Coast Trail is no easy walk in the park. No one wants to turn back, but when they have to, the Parks Canada West Coast Trail Search and Rescue Team is there to help.